So I am Dana James Edwards, and I'm Kubrick's Head of Diversity, Equity and Inclusion. It is Mental Health Awareness Week here at Kubrick and everywhere. And so that's why we're doing this video. But the truth is, we talk and think about mental health all throughout the year. It's something that's constant, it's continuous for us. It's something that we're always focusing on. And it's important, not just this week, not just this month, but all across the year. I love that the focus is anxiety, not just because it's something that I have personal experience with, but I can talk about. But I feel like sometimes, because people feel like you can cope with anxiety and it's not as big as depression, or it's not as big as some of the other things, it sometimes gets a bit sidelined. I love that it's in the spotlight this year, because for some people, anxiety can be really debilitating. I think I've always been anxious, but I think I didn't know, firstly, that there was a word for it, and secondly, that everyone else wasn't feeling it in the way that I was. When I was growing up, I was so stressed out about tests, but then I just assumed all children were. Or sometimes I would feel anxiety in the morning before I was going to school, but I didn't have a word for it. I would say butterflies in my tummy, and my mom would say things like, line the butterflies up, tell them to behave themselves, and that sort of thing. And that just made me assume that everyone was feeling it and everyone was coping with it, and that I needed to work harder to cope with mine. So you know, it's always been there in the background. But where I think things really took a turn was during the pandemic. There was some times where I couldn't leave the house, or I wanted to go out for fresh air and I had to go at like 5 a.m. because I was so anxious and I couldn't sleep at night. When things settled down, I think they may have gone back to normal for everyone, but for me it didn't feel normal. I remember when we were told to return back to work and I was going for my first in-person meeting. I got to Brixton Station. I was supposed to get on the tube. There were so many people there, and I had to get on the tube to get where I was going. And I sat there on a bench on the platform and I felt like I couldn't breathe. Here at Kubrick, I said to Linda very early o'clock, I'm pretty much gonna come in 1 day a week. Like, I am willing to be flexible. So like, this is a week where I've done 2 days a week, but really 1 day a week for me is enough, because I'm probably not gonna sleep the night before. And then 2 days in a row, the sleep deficit catches up and I actually really need to be able to be relaxed. What's really funny is once things start, I'm not anxious anymore, but it's all in the lead up to it where I'm feeling that. And I know things that help me feel better and help me cope. And it's about finding some of those things for yourself, but being able to express to people what you need and being open and honest about them. I think organizations have a great responsibility in terms of managing anxiety and mental health in general for their employees. The first thing is destigmatizing. So just like we're doing this right now and having conversations about it and putting it from the darkness into the light is so important. But also, I feel like people shouldn't always have to ask for accommodations. It should be more like, here are some accommodations we have available as a starting point. Is there anything else that you might like that would work for you? I also think being able to point to people in the organization who are struggling with anxiety or any other mental health conditions and showing how they thrive and making them available and open for conversations is really important. Here is me, here is where I am. I'm not hiding, and it's okay for you not to hide too. And the organization has to be the one to send that message. I think there's so much we could do when it comes to policies, when it comes to accommodations, but if people don't know they're there, and also when people are new, when you're new, you're in that period of not wanting to rock the boat or do anything wrong or make people think or say you're different. What is wrong with saying to people when they first start, what is it that you need? Let's just talk about things. Let's be open and let's give people the confidence to be able to do those things. I think a really important one that I don't want to overlook is that I see a counselor, and I find it very helpful to be able to articulate what I'm feeling and experiencing in the moment and to be heard in that regard. Over time, you will find strategy, a toolkit, something that's useful for you.